Hello everyone, I hope you're doing well. This video is going to be on many are called but few are chosen. This was at the end of the parable of the vineyards in the garden, the workers in the vineyard. Yes, today is February 24th. Yes, and this was something that puzzled me when I talked about this before. The first will be last and the last will be first. This little bit is at the end of that parable in Matthew 20. He gets through all of the workers that came through at different times, and then it goes through the paying of the workers that were there last first. And then he says, so it will be at the end, the first will be last and the last will be first. But then he says, many are called, but few are chosen. And I never really understood that part. It seemed out of place. And I think it seemed out of place because I was taught in kind of a patriarchal Calvinist sort of way that had something to do with election. And it doesn't. It has nothing to do with election. That whole theory of, you're kind of stuck. If God decided you should be saved, that's kind of decided at the beginning, and it has nothing to do with your choices. I'm not going to get into that, but that's not what this is. So I was puzzled by it, and I asked the Holy Spirit, what does this part mean? And then about 2 days ago, he showed me what it meant. He caught my attention back in 1 Peter 2:9 that I talked about when I talked about America in the Bible. And God gave me this verse as one of the verses pertaining to the United States. But then he showed me how it pertains to Matthew 20 as well. And the United States and the nation of Israel are connected in that they were both founded on God. That's the reason they became a nation, was freedom to worship. And God chose us both for specific purposes. We're unlike any other nations of the world. We're not the same. And the nation of Israel was chosen for the priesthood. The United States was chosen to spread the gospel. Anyways, but I talk about that in America in the Bible. I'm sorry, the phone is ringing. So I was puzzled by this. Many are called, but few are chosen. And I'm like, what does that mean, God? So 1 Peter 2:9-10 says, but you are a chosen generation, a royal priesthood, a holy nation, his own special people, that you may proclaim the praises of him who called you out of the darkness into his marvelous light, who once were not a people, but now are the people of God, who had not obtained mercy, but now have obtained mercy. In some versions, it says his own peculiar people. It uses the word peculiar instead of special. Yes. So in Deuteronomy, in the Old Testament, Deuteronomy 14:2, it says, for you are a holy people to the Lord your God, and the Lord has chosen you to be a people for himself, a special treasure above all the people who are on the face of the earth. So the many are called are the whole world. We all have the opportunity to make a decision whether or not we're going to follow Jesus, whether or not we're going to believe in him, whether or not we're going to choose God and choose life and choose to be saved through his free gift of salvation, through what he did for us on the cross. So all of us are called. Many are called. Of all the nations of the world, many are called. But the few that are chosen are the nation of Israel. They were specifically called for a specific purpose. They are not any more special to God. They aren't more valuable to God than anyone else, but they were chosen specifically to carry the law, to be the priests on this earth, and for Jesus to come through them. They had a very specific purpose. He chose them specifically. So when he says many are called but few are chosen, especially at the end of this parable, it means a lot. It means that he is indeed pointing to Israel when he's saying the last will be first. He's saying they might be last to realize who I am, but they're going to be first, because many were called, but few were chosen. for that particular position. Yes, so that was just so cool. So that's all I have for that. But that's what that means. Some of you may have known that. I was totally clueless. I always thought when that terminology was used, it was talking about election, but it's not talking about election. So I hope you guys have a good day or a good night, and I will see you later.